Okay, here's the lowdown. Dorei-ku Animation episode 11 has brought up a lot of attention. It finally did. Through the highs and lows of this show, we finally got something good. Now, to be honest, it's not worthy like, oh, great spring anime and stuff like that. It's not like that. But at least it tried to get to the part where we're kind of like, one episode left or two, probably episode 12 or 13. And in episode 11 wants that to happen. It wants that to happen. 23 slaves, and there's 23 slaves in this game, each with its own pros and cons. Some had their ups, some has their downs. Some believe that it's right to control slaves. Some believe it doesn't. But the whole premises of this show is about not only slaves, but the one key thing to this is power. That is the whole dynamic structure of Dorei-ku animation, just power. For those of you who read the manga, we already expected a lot of things. For example, Ryu's father was the actual creator of the SEM. They didn't present that yet. They should have. And Arya being the MVP of this episode, trying to end the world of all slaves, which in fact Zero is the one. Literally, it's just, from a manga standpoint, it's really great. And then you got the dog Zushu, who got all bandages up from the fall of traps, which they should have showed. It's just that they left out so many things that I'm not sure they're going to follow the ending of the manga. The way how it's all peaceful, free, and going to the gravesite to meet their family. They should have done that. Now, before I begin this, I'd like to say that tomorrow is Magical Girl Site, so I won't be able to do that review tomorrow. But I'm going to do a review of it when I come back from work in a couple days or two more, But when I come back, I will definitely do a review of Magical Girl Site first, because I need to talk about that show, because I'm really hyped for that. But anyway, episode 11. Man, it's always the great one after the random guys, It's just always, you have this guy wants to take control of this person, and then this person wants to take control of this person, and then the other person wants to take control of this person, and it's a domino effect. One after another, but when the domino stops, that domino wants to go all around them and just controlling them more. That's how it is, It's one after one random person. And some saying slaves are for research, what they did. Slaves are for research. And some think it's a challenging game. And that's what Dorei-ku is. Some for research and some for challenges overall. And for some, it's a way of making money by selling slaves and making more slaves. Okay, you see what I'm getting at? And that's what this Dorei-ku animation is. It's just, you see it. You take slaves, you want to make them your bitch. You want to take slaves to control them. You want to take slaves because you feel bad for them. Okay, that's what it is. Now, we found out about the Juggernaut SCM, where just a snap of the finger, you can control anybody. Anime logic, how come we don't have that? A snap of the finger, we can control everybody. We don't have that. Okay, we should have. But still the fact that it remains, how do we get the Juggernaut SCM away from him? Well, there's side effects to it. They kind of explain it a little more. Like, if you use it a lot, your brain waves, they flashback gets sort of blood in the head. The brain functions off, causing them to get nosebleeds and all that. Can't control it anymore, so it takes some time to take it off. Now, aside from that, Arya wants to end it. With Arya's plan overall, ever since the first episode, she was my favorite. Ever since the manga, she was kind of like my favorite because she had the way to end the SCMs. She didn't want to be part of it, but she wanted to end it. And I like that. So anyway, Arya thought that the best way to end all slaves is that if she controlled that SCM, that Juggernaut SCM, with a seven fingers, she could free all the slaves of everybody and have a normal life. But it didn't work. So instead, everybody protected Aya from falling into a trap hole, and then the antagonists all just control him, and he control the dog and everybody else. So that's the plan. Now, moving on to Minato. Now, not the Minato from Naruto or the Minato from Sakura, but this Minato, the antagonist, was actually the one who planned everything from the start. Now, if you guys remember the first episode, Sachi, that gal girl, she was already a slave to Minato, the guy with the dorky glasses, and he had sex with her. He fucked her and made him his slave. Made her the slave, like that. So he found out about this device and he wants to control everybody. Okay, we get that. So that being said, he wants to control more than just Sachi. He wants to control Julia. He wants to control Fujiko, the scientist girl with the big boobs and the long purple hair and glasses. Still wants to control everybody. But it wasn't enough. So instead, what he had to do? Okay, so he explains everything. How Sasha, I think the chubby girl, how he controlled the chubby girl, how he controlled Zero. Everything makes sense on how he controlled everybody. It all makes sense. Now that the tables have turned, he has 18 slaves in total. So right now he's trying to get more slaves as possible to have everybody, the whole world, could fall down to his feet. It's kind of like Light Yagami. You know how Light Yagami wants to be the god of a new world, and Light Yagami wants to control the world, proving that he's Kira, proving that he's a god. Okay. In this Psycho Kid is really psycho. He's crazy with his fake expressions, and it is show fan service. But still, with every ounce of fiber this guy has, he wants to control everybody. So he challenged the guy with the glasses, the actual person who held the Juggernaut SCM. He wants to control him with a game of truth and lies, tell him about the lies and the truth. Finds out he lose. So what they did is extract the teeth from him. Like, we finally get to see some blood from, we haven't seen blood in a long time, but we actually get to see some blood. Showed him that he was playing the game, and it was actually the scientist who actually who planned everything from the get-go. So now that it's set in stone, Minato, whatever you call him, that's his last name. Let's just go by his last name. It shows his flashback of how he encountered Julia and how he got the first slave, Sachi, to begin with, and how he had sex with her, Sachi. Okay, they show it. Now that it's set in stone again, my bad. He has 18 slaves and he thinks he has the power. But fear not. If they decided to keep it where the manga was perspective from how Arya saves the day, Zero saves the day. If they go by that route with Zero's mom, Zero's brother with the yellow hair, if they decided to keep that motion intact, we're probably gonna see it. But like I said, we don't know, because they don't really follow the anime, but at least they tried. So next week is episode 12. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if it's to see the finale of it, but we all know that Arya is gonna be the key to save everybody from this horrible, horrible, horrible world of slave control. I mean, literally, it's always the first episode where the protagonist has got a plan. There's always the first episode where the protagonist has this idea to save the world or do something heroically, or it's a little bit of both. Either way, this was a good episode. I mean, episode 11 kind of bounced back, it's juggling, but it's still decent as to why we got this antagonist being OP than the other antagonists. So yeah, we finally get to see it, but he's more crazier than the other. So I'm looking forward to next week. Let's see how that turns out. Hopefully by then we get to see all the heroics that Julia would do, Arya would do, the dog, or maybe Zero. Let's just find out. So tune in next week.